I'm ready. Come on.
Feel it coming in the air. Hear the screams from
We all need to have a firm understanding of fire dynamics and how modern construction and low-mass synthetics play a part in how fire works. Fires burn 8 times faster and produce 200 times more byproducts of combustion as they did only 30 years ago. Fire gases, including CO and hydrogen cyanide, have extremely wide flammable ranges and are present in vast amounts at any structure fire. Remember, smoke is fuel. Modern furnishings have forever changed the makeup of what we call smoke. Smoke itself has an explosive and flammable range and will ignite. As fire lights off in the growth stage, convection, conduction, radiation, and thermal feedback are affecting surrounding fuels inside a closed or open box. A great way to think of a structure fire is either an open box or a closed box, and it dictates the type of tactics we use to control it. We need to be skilled observers of fire behavior and become proficient in reading smoke. Smoke characteristics tell us a lot of what is burning and how it's burning. Smoke acts differently when the fire is in the incipient, growth, fully developed, or decay stage. Reading smoke is a very dynamic skill that requires keen observation. You aren't just reading the smoke, you're comparing it to other similar openings within the structure. How is it acting? How does it look? And how does it change over time? Using these indicators to predict where it's going and what tactics you will utilize to control it. When reading the fire, don't look at the fire itself. Concentrate on the 4 characteristics of the smoke: its velocity, its volume, its density, and its color. It tells you a lot about what's burning and the stage of fire that you're dealing with. Calm and smooth smoke exiting the building is laminar flow smoke. It indicates that the fire is in the incipient phase and the building and contents are absorbing thermal energy. Cold smoke refers to smoke that's lost its velocity, flow, and energy. Cold smoke conditions are very dangerous and many times found in large-scale commercial buildings with sprinkler systems. The danger lies in firefighters becoming lost and disoriented in these low visibility conditions. Staying oriented, use of ticks, and large area search ropes are essential in surviving these types of fires. The velocity of smoke through openings indicates its energy and volume. If smoke from the opening is agitated and turbulent, then rapid fire progress is likely to occur. We need to recognize the transition from growth to fully developed stage. This is by far the most dangerous phase of any structure fire. We need to watch for vent point ignition when high heat, pressurized smoke lights off as it exits the building and hits the oxygen-rich air. This smoke has all the energy and heat and fuel it needs to light off. When it hits the oxygen-rich air outside, it auto-ignites. This is a major indicator of impending flashover. When you see this happening at your entry point, we need to rethink our tactics as a hostile fire event is about to happen. In this video from LAFD, we can see how heavy fire at the rear of the single-story bungalow structure is feeding conditions at the front door. Note that the crews anticipated the conditions of high volume, high velocity, black marbleized smoke, and had hand lines bled and ready to make the attack. As the hose line is introduced, note the change in the smoke as a steam conversion takes place. Be aware at this point they are fighting fire gases from the main body of fire. Once the thing is knocked down, there's a high chance that it can change and relight again. At this point, we need to cover door control. It is such an important factor in controlling flow path. We can force the door but need to control it and vent limit and reduce the air entering the structure until we have adequate hose lines in place. This also needs to be coordinated with vertical ventilation as well to ensure that the fire gases are in a flow path that draws the fire gases away from you at the entry point and directed out the vent hole. In this demonstration, an interior hollow core door is used to control flow path into a well-involved room. Many cases, just closing the door can buy you time, especially in vent, enter, and search operations. The importance of door control until you have a charged hose line bled and ready is demonstrated here when the hose team is driven off the porch by a rapid change in fire conditions, from leaving the front door open while they were deploying an uncharged line. When you have an opening you'll be entering, always keep your eye on it so you can look for the subtle changes in fire behavior. Changes over time tell you a lot about where the fire is going and the conditions that you're about to face.
Take your time, no need to hurry.
In this instance, large windows were blown out prior to hose lines being ready, causing an entire AB corner of the structure to light off. Always have adequate hose lines in place prior to opening any vent opening.
No slipping, no sliding, no bumping, no boring. I want to ride into town.
Here comes the hose line uncharged, not quite ready for the fire that's going to ensue.
The ground. Take your time, take your time, take your time. No need to hurry. No, no, no.
Prior to making entry with your charged hose line, open your door and let it breathe, just for a second. Watch the conditions. Does it auto-ignite as it pushes outside? Does the smoke push out at you? Or is it the exit point for fire gases, or does the door draw in fresh air, or both? These are indications telling you a lot about the conditions you're going to face inside. A major indicator of impending flashover is what's called rollover. Superheated fire gases being fed from the fire down the hallway travel high in the trapped smoke. They auto-ignite well away from the main body of fire as they are mixed with oxygen coming into the room. These crews are operating down a superheated hallway towards the fire room. Note the bidirectional flow path of cool air being pulled in below and hot fire gases expelled above. These crews need to be aware of the situation they're in. These fire gases can easily ignite and flash over throughout the entire hallway. We need to be cognizant of that and cooling the overhead and making a push as we get towards the fire room versus crawling underneath all those byproducts of combustion. We can keep hallway flashover at bay by pantsing the overhead or by flow and go fire attack down the hallway. We know flashover occurs much faster, within 3 to 5 minutes, in modern homes due to low mass synthetic furnishings. The structure and contents can only absorb so much heat. Thermal feedback causes furnishings to off-gas, and the combined fire gases, along with all the contents in the room, ignite at once. It's been proven many times when flashover occurs, you're no less than 5 feet into the room, you will not make it out. Also, flashover in one room can rapidly lead to flashover in a second. A real hazard in modern energy-efficient construction is the smoldering phase fire. As home is so airtight, the fire becomes quickly vent-limited, consuming all of the oxygen available within this space. The fire produces vast amounts of unburnt byproducts of combustion and heavy heat, with fire gases well within their flammable or even explosive limits. Look as a fire dies, how it pressurizes the home as it's looking for a way out. These signs of a smoldering phase fire can be tough to spot, but essential in identifying a hostile fire event before it happens. Here we see pressurized gray yellow smoke issuing throughout the entire home. Puffing or breathing of this smoke as the fire gets some oxygen, lights, but can't sustain and vent limits once again. Crazed smoke-stained windows are throughout the home, and on the Charlie side of the house we see puffing and vent point ignition of fire gases, a great indication that the closed box is fully charged with fire gases hot enough to auto-ignite in oxygen-rich air. Coordinated vertical ventilation prior to forcible entry is essential in the smoldering phase fire. If we were to force the door and open up this vent-limited condition, we can create a backdraft, where induced oxygen into the space full of unburned byproducts of combustion, well within their explosive ranges. They have all the heat and the fuel they need for ignition. All they need is oxygen to complete the third leg of the fire triangle, and the ensuing backdraft is the result. The resulting pressure wave and energy release has been documented to be enough to move a 38,000-pound fire engine out in front of a structure and cause damage to structural integrity of the home due to overpressure of interior spaces. In this example, expelled energy and overpressure was enough to blow the chimney clean off the side of the structure. Smoldering phase fire conditions can also take place within void spaces within the home, such as this attic. As crews came in to initiate fire attack, opening up the ceiling, they induced oxygen into the enclosed space, and the backdraft ensued. Smoke explosions are very similar to backdrafts, as they occur when the fire gases are fuel-rich, high in heat, and oxygen-starved. The difference is smoke explosions occur in rapidly developing growth stage of a fire, where backdrafts occur in the decay stage. As rapidly developing fires grow, depending on the fuel inside the structure, they can produce much more superheated byproducts of combustion than can get out. These trapped fire gases are being pushed by heat and volume. Watch the smoke and see high velocity, high volume, black marbleized smoke pushed from the structure. It isn't just the smoke, but it's the rapid increase in speed and energy of expelled smoke that's the indicator of a rapid change in fire activity. You'll see a subtle but rapid drawing in of smoke just before ignition. This is called 180 smoke. The fire creates a negative draw, pulling outside air in just before ignition. In this fire, watch the smoke. A rapid change in fire conditions interior occurs, either from induced air from the back of the structure, from failed windows, or air induction of large amounts from wind impeding that backside of the home, or even a large-scale flashover interior. Regardless of the cause, watch the energy push of the smoke and watch how it changes. Speed and volume rapidly increase. Volume push smoke that exits and slows rapidly converts to heat push smoke, where the column is expelled fire gases have enough energy and they keep speeding up as they exit the building. This change happens very fast and on a gigantic scale in this fire, catching the crews off guard. Hostile fire events can be managed by coordinated ventilation, backed up by hose lines ready to go. We may not be able to stop the hostile fire event, but the trick is not to be part of it. Vertical ventilation is our tool of choice to expel superheated, high volume, high velocity smoke out from the structure. Let them ignite vertically out of the hole versus down below on interior crews. Interior crews will immediately feel lifting of the thermal layering inside. Those crews inside must be aware and look for subtle changes or big changes interior once the saw stops running and the hole is being opened up by the truck crew. Your flow path is about to change. Depending on the location of the hole, in conjunction with where you are within the structure, a flow path might be established behind you, drawing the fire towards you, or it may pull it away from you. Also be ready for the flow path will surely draw in oxygen-rich air from outside that can quickly ignite superheated trapped gases that haven't escaped yet. One of the keys in vertical ventilation is to make the hole big enough to get as much of the expelled fire gases out as we can in a shorter period of time. Our tactics are based off of current and expected fire behavior as you pull up on scene. Become a keen observer of fire behavior indicators and make sound tactical decisions based off of what you see outside. This video just covers the fundamentals of reading a building and how it is attacked by fire.
But you got to remember, in my 25 years, I got to fight predictable fires in resilient buildings. You were fighting explosive fires in disposable buildings. You can't afford to be lucky. You must be good. And that's the key.